As the search for a teenage girl from northern Wisconsin continues, we're waiting to learn more about the death of her parents.
And a small village along the Baraboo River is thinking about moving the downtown away from the water following this summer's.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning. It is Wednesday, October 17th. 40 degrees out there this morning. Hads, how's it feeling out on the patio?
Still breezy.
Yeah, I was going to say that breeze makes all the difference.
It does. My blanket?
I might just wrap it around me in the patio. We do have a little bit of a wind chill factor again this morning. It feels like it's around the freezing point. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV sky cam. You can definitely see a few clouds. It kind of looks eerie, like eyes.
Yeah.
A few clouds.
Halloween.
Just getting ready for Halloween here. We have cloudy skies here across southern Wisconsin this morning. Now dropped to 39 here in Madison. Boscobel and Lone Rock are still in the low 40s, but everyone else is in the 30s this morning. Here's a look at the wind speeds. Northwesterly winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Again, making it feel just a little bit colder this morning. Winds will be a factor through the day from the northwest, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles an hour. That'll hold high temperatures in the 40s today, about 10 degrees cooler than it was yesterday. The roads are dry though this morning. That's the best news. Let's take a look at the maps. We'll see what's happening in the area. A few brake lights on the Beltline right around Stoughton Road. That's pretty typical for this time of the day. Otherwise, no accidents to report. As you are heading into Madison from the surrounding communities, looks like you're still going at posted speeds on all those major roads.
It is just the up and down. Again, we were talking last week about getting sick. I mean, I'm just kind of bracing for the airborne to need to be broken out this
Sitting
year.
at her desk.
You never know. It's been a real roller coaster ride the last week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. All right. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Police say there will be an autopsy today to learn more about a missing teen's parents who were found dead inside their home in northern Wisconsin. 13-year-old Jamie Kloss has been missing from Barron since early Monday morning. Officials say they think Jamie is in danger, but they wouldn't provide any other details, saying it could compromise the investigation. The cause of her parents' deaths hasn't been released, but police did say gunshots were fired. Miami police had gotten a tip that someone who matched the description of Jamie was at a gas station in that city on Monday. That has since been ruled out. Anyone with information on where Jamie might be can call the number right there on your screen or 911.
A small Sauk County community is struggling to recover nearly 2 months after this summer's flooding. The village of Rock Springs, about 8 miles south of Reedsburg, is looking into rebuilding some of the downtown area away from the Baraboo River. Gary Clement, who owns an auto body shop there, is all for that idea. He is still cleaning up after seeing an overwhelming amount of damage from that flooding.
I just feel like I just want to walk away. Just leave everything, just. God, I work so hard, to build. Just, gosh.
To make matters worse in this story, Gary came home to that damage on the same day he was diagnosed with cancer. You can see Amy Reed's full story over on channel3000.com. Rock Springs officials are still waiting to hear just how much funding it will get from FEMA to help rebuild.
The city of Madison is looking ahead to reconstruct parts of a major road that was closed for flooding for weeks this summer. Members of the Board of Public Works will talk tonight about a nearly $6 million project for East Johnson Street. The plan is to repave parts of East Johnson from Baldwin to First Street. There will also be upgrades to the curbs, gutters, water mains, and storm sewers there. Sidewalks will also be replaced as well.
Speaking of this summer's flooding, the same board is talking about the city's flood control relief policies. That's the document that sets priorities for what repairs and projects should be completed first after a weather event like the one we saw on August 20th. The 100-year flood caused an estimated $4 million in damage in Madison alone. Common Council has approved shifting some funds to cover emergency repairs and overtime pay linked to the flooding. The State Journal reports the $3.2 million is mostly coming out of stormwater, sewer, and landfill reserve funding. Most of that money will go to the sewage department to treat the high volume of runoff water that went into storm drains. Some funding will also go toward sidewalk and street repairs.
Election Day is now less than 3 weeks away, but today is the deadline to register to vote without leaving your house. Our Christina Laurie is live in the studio this morning to explain. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Leah. Today is the deadline for voters to register online or by mail. Although it's important to remember today is not your last chance to register to vote altogether. You can still register in person to vote at your municipal clerk's office until Friday, November 2nd. And here in Wisconsin, you can actually register at your polling place on Election Day, Tuesday, November 6th. But if you're mailing in your registration, your voter form and proof of residence must be postmarked no later than today. And if registering online, you must send in your name, birthday, Wisconsin driver's license or state ID number, and address to the DMV by the end of the day. We have links on how to register both ways on the homepage of our website, channel3000.com. And if you've already registered to vote, you don't have to wait until Election Day to cast your ballot. You can vote via absentee right now. The Wisconsin Elections Commission says 84,000 absentee ballots have actually already been returned this year.
Lots of great information there. All right, Christina Laurie reporting for us. Thanks, Christina.
Your time right now is 6:05, and if you are a Brewers fan up listening right now to this story, I really hope you did not see the end of Game 4. After a 5-hour marathon, the NLCS is now tied at 2. The game didn't wrap up until just before 1:30 our time, making it the second longest National League Series game ever. Last year's National League Rookie of the Year, Cody Bellinger, hit an RBI single to drive in Manny Machado. You're seeing the hugs right there. That was in the bottom of the 13th inning. Dodgers win 2-1. The Brewers went 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position last night. It'll be a quick turnaround with Game 5 starting just after 4 this afternoon over on Fox Sports 1.
All right, back to a field here in Wisconsin. A professional soccer team will be coming to Madison starting in March. And that's not the only new update ahead for WISC-TV Field.
Yeah, the city is considering more upgrades for that stadium to make room for hundreds more fans. Josh Spreiter is live outside of WISC-TV with more on the plans and how much they could cost. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. There is a ton of history here at the stadium, so a lot of time and effort is going into this. Officials say it's all about preservation through purpose. The plan by the city is to make more bleachers, add more bleachers rather, make bleacher upgrades, build a hospitality deck, and improve handicap access. The project manager tells me the proposed updates are estimated around $500,000. I'm told the cost would be shared between the city and the Big Top events. The city's portion was already approved last season, so their updates are within the current funding. The project manager tells me the biggest question right now is the hospitality deck. The city says any feedback or concerns should be brought forward in a November 1st neighborhood meeting. As far as a timeline from there, a vote is scheduled for November 19th, and if that goes through, they could start construction this winter, and the hope is to have everything completed by the time soccer starts in March. Coming up just after 6:30, we'll have more reaction from the neighborhood on what they think of these proposed changes.
Yeah, certainly some concerns already, even before the shovel hits the dirt there.
Yeah.
All right, Josh Spreiter reporting live from WISC-TV. Thanks, Josh.
6:07 your time now. Like Danica needed another reason to get excited for the start of Bucks season. She loves an excuse to say Giannis Antetokounmpo on the show.
Nicely
Did I say that
done.
right?
You did it.
More parties happening over in Milwaukee today. You're going to want to hear about that. We're going to preview Milwaukee Fest. That's coming up after the break.
Whether you are rocking out in Milwaukee or celebrating homecoming week here in Madison, you're going to want to add on a layer. Hattie's got another crisp fall day when News 3 This Morning returns.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. The wind not too bad right now, so I'm counting my blessings. It is going to be kind of a breezy day today, and the wind is not going to be a warm one. It'll be from the northwest. Take a look at the roller coaster that we've been on with temperatures lately. Going back to last weekend on Sunday, where highs were in the 50s. We dropped back on Monday, then we're up again on Tuesday, down again today, Wednesday, with highs back in the 40s. Now, we do go up and down even as we head into the upcoming weekend, so no relief from these temperatures just yet. Take a look at satellite and radar trends, and what you'll see on the map is a little bit of cloud cover moving through southern Wisconsin. Just like yesterday, it's a pretty narrow band of clouds, so it'll only impact us for a couple of hours. Skies are clear across the North Woods this morning, so plenty of sunshine is in our forecast for the afternoon. Temperatures this morning are pretty consistent in the 30s in many locations, 37 in Minneapolis, although International Falls now I see dropping to 28 degrees, 39 in Des Moines. Chicago's at 44. We're at 39 here in Madison, Janesville, Watertown as well at 39, 35 in Platteville. Wind speeds are from the northwest around 5 to 15 miles an hour this morning, so definitely noticeable. If you want to reference the wind chill, it feels like it's in the low 30s early today. Now, the winds will be a factor through the day, but they'll be from the northwest all afternoon, increasing to 10 to 20 miles an hour through the afternoon hours, so making it feel a little bit cooler. Winds will diminish tonight, setting us up for a pretty chilly night. Take a look at your future track forecast model. It does paint a little bit of cloud cover in the area this morning, but future track pretty optimistic on those clouds, clearing us out pretty quickly. We will definitely see some sunshine for the afternoon, but high temperatures will likely stay in the 40s in most locations. 47 here in Madison, 48 in Platteville, and 46 in the Dells. A quick cool down this evening as the sun sets. We will bottom out right around 30 tomorrow morning. Now let's get a look at that extended forecast. Again, I mentioned up and down through the rest of the week and the upcoming weekend. We still have that chance for rain on Friday and on Saturday. Saturday temperatures will be dropping, so we could see a few snowflakes mix in before the precipitation comes to an end. But it looks like quiet weather and a little bit of a warm-up as we head through next week. Now let's get a check on your first alert traffic. We have Jason Stone this morning. Welcome to the team, Jason.
Well, thank you and good morning. Traffic is starting to pick up on the Beltline at the Verona Road interchange. Otherwise, all is moving well with no delays on the Beltline. Other roads around Dane County are seeing average traffic for the morning commute. A few brake lights on Stoughton Road near the Beltline ramps. No problems downtown or near Capitol Square. Volume is not a factor at this point. All main routes heading into the city are running at the posted speeds with no crashes or delays. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate it. And thank you, Hattie. So less than 3 weeks away from Election Day, voters in Wisconsin's 42nd district have a chance to hear from the candidates for state assembly later on today. Republican John Plummer and Democrat Ann Groves-Lloyd will meet at a forum this afternoon in Lodi. If this race sounds familiar, it's because it is. Plummer beat Groves-Lloyd in a special election for that seat just about 4 months ago. The seat was left empty after Governor Walker appointed the former lawmaker in that position to his staff. The district covers parts of 6 different counties, including northern Dane County and most of Columbia County. Today's forum runs from noon to 1 at Lodi High School.
A trial date for a federal lawsuit challenging Wisconsin's legislative boundaries is set for April. The case is back in the state after the U.S. Supreme Court declined to take the case this summer, citing a lack of standing. The original lawsuit was filed 3 years ago by Democrats, who argued Republicans had gerrymandered the political boundary lines to give them more power. Now Democrats filed a new lawsuit, adding more voters and plaintiffs to address the concerns raised by the Supreme Court. The state's education leaders are holding a meeting this morning to talk about the issues facing schools out in the country. Specifically, the Advisory Council on Rural Schools and Communities will talk about mental health, along with some new changes to teacher licensing in the state. That meeting is taking place at Denmark High School outside Green Bay. It starts at 9 this morning.
The Madison School District wants to hear from parents when it comes to discipline policies and how teachers implement them in the classroom. Now, an ad hoc committee has heard from faculty and staff around the district's about the district's education behavior plan, that is, and now it wants to hear from families. That plan covers everything from bullying to suspensions, cell phones in schools, and how teachers should be teaching positive behaviors. Comments from tonight's meeting will be taken into consideration as the district tweaks the plan for the next school year. That meeting starts at 6 o'clock at Memorial High School's library. There are 3 more public input sessions scheduled over the next month.
Tomorrow marks the start of Foxconn Days on the UW campus. The 2-day event will showcase Foxconn technology, and staff members will be there to talk about the company's new Institute for Research in Science and Technology. That's part of one of the biggest gifts ever to the UW. They'll also be talking about potential career opportunities for students. This is all happening over at Engineering Hall on campus from 5 until 8 tomorrow and from 9 until 1 on Friday.
If you are looking into books and beer, if you are into those things, we have an event to tell you about later today. The author of this year's Go Big Read will be at Working Draft Beer Company later on. That's right on East Wilson Street, right across from McPike Park. Dan Egan is the reporter for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He'll talk about his book called The Death and Life of the Great Lakes for this month's Science on Tap event that goes from 5:30 until 7 this evening. Okay, it's time to start fearing the deer as the Milwaukee Bucks kick off their regular season tonight in Charlotte against Badgers star Frank Kaminsky and the Hornets.
Before that, and the home opener on Friday, there's quite the party happening outside the Bucks' new arena. The free Milwaukee Fest starts tonight and runs through the rest of the week. It's going to bring live music, Bucks gear, and of course some celebratory beverages to the plaza just outside the Fiserv Forum. There's also going to be a big screen playing the Brewers games as well, so you don't have to miss that. This is in addition to the big Foo Fighters concert tonight and the Eagles show tomorrow. Lots going on. The Bucks play the Indiana Pacers at home on 7:30 Friday.
Eastsiders can start getting excited about a new and improved Finney Library planned to move into a new development off Cottage Grove Road. Now we are looking at what the new location is going to look like and where you can get your reading fix in the meantime while that's being built.
Grab some gloves, maybe a scarf, and take that book outside today. Sunshine, not quite out yet, but some colder temperatures also headed our way. Hattie has a forecast worthy of a nice pumpkin spice latte. That's next on News 3 This Morning.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. If you're just waking up this morning, it's a little chilly outside with temperatures down in the 30s. Northwesterly winds are definitely going to be a factor today as well. Take a look at current temperatures around our area. 38 to the north from the Dells up to Camp Douglas, 38 as well in Monroe, 35 in Platteville, and 39 here in Madison. Winds, as I mentioned, though, you'll notice them today. Northwesterly right now, 5 to 15 miles an hour. They will be increasing heading into the afternoon. Wind chills are currently right around 30 degrees in most spots, so bundle up as you head to the bus stop today. Few clouds moving through this morning, but then sunshine for the afternoon. Temperatures will be about 10 degrees cooler than they were yesterday. Have a wonderful day.
All right, thanks so much, Hattie. 6:22 your time now. Staff at Pinney Library on Madison's east side are getting ready to move locations this December while its new space is being built. That library will eventually be part of Royster's Corners, currently under construction at the intersection of Cottage Grove and Dempsey Roads. Until it opens in 2020, neighbors are going to be able to check out books just a couple of doors down at the former Ace Hardware store. Tonight, the Board of Public Works will vote to open the bidding process for nearly $5 million in library upgrades. Now, some stuff inside Pinney won't be making it to the new location. Staff is looking for some new homes for the plants in their rain garden. There's a plant sale starting tomorrow and running through Saturday, where you can get everything from marsh milkweed to blazing star and more. They'll do all the digging up and potting for you right there on site. Plants are between $5 and $10. Proceeds will go to the Pinney Library and to Dane County's Habitat for Humanity.
We could see a new bike and pedestrian path on Madison's east side over the next few years. The city is hoping to build the Garver Path in 2021. The more than $1.8 million trail would go from the Capital City Trail just behind Old Brick Botanical Gardens to Milwaukee Street. 2 bridges would span the Starkwater Creek, and there'd be a new boardwalk over wetland areas at Sherry Park. Now tonight, the Board of Public Works will talk about a federal grant that would cover up to $850,000 of construction costs.
Some Wisconsin farmers are taking part in a historic harvest right now as they get ready to send their hemp plants off to processors in the coming weeks. The state launched a hemp pilot program earlier this year with 250 farmers taking part. More than 1,800 acres are being harvested this fall. DACAP is going to test those hemp plants to make sure they have less than 0.3% THC. That's the psychoactive chemical found in marijuana. This is the first time since the 1950s Wisconsin farmers have been allowed to harvest hemp.
I can do that.
All right, 6:24 your time right now. A crash along Highway 19 outside Waunakee has lanes blocked in all directions near Walter Road this morning. We're going to update your first alert traffic coming up in our next half hour.
And Madison's metro system might be getting some new buses due to Volkswagen's emissions scandal. The day's top stories are next on News 3 this morning. Madison's police chief says the juvenile justice system in his city is not working. We'll tell you what he wants to see changed and what the top prosecutor in the county had to say about it.
The city of Madison is proposing more improvements for WISC-TV Field. I'm Josh Brutter live with how the neighborhood is reacting this morning.
This is News 3 This Morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 This Morning. It is 6:28 on this Wednesday, October 17th. We've seen the scarf going everywhere in Josh's live shot this morning, and Hattie is all bundled up on her patio as well.
Oh, yeah, she's got the gloves out, the scarf, maybe the hat. Hattie, how's it feeling out there?
Yeah, no hat today, but it is kind of chilly. The wind will get your attention. Let's just say that this morning. It's a northwesterly wind, so that's a chilly wind for us. Temperatures are going to be colder today. We start first with a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam here in Madison. We should be able to see some light on the horizon, but with the clouds in the area, just not even able to see that just yet. Satellite and radar maps combined showing you that there is a fairly narrow deck of clouds shifting through southern Wisconsin. It's covering almost our entire viewing area this morning. It'll be with us for a couple of hours and then skies will clear. No precipitation though from any of the clouds. Temperatures under the clouds range from around 35 in Platteville to 41 in Boscobel and Lone Rock. Most spots though are starting in the 30s. Our day planner temperatures with clouds in the area early this morning. Look for temps to be very slow to warm up early today. Temperatures will climb to a high of 47 degrees. A little bit later on this afternoon. Again, plenty of sun is in our forecast for the second part of the day. Your first alert traffic update this morning includes an accident. This is up near Waunakee on Highway 19 with the intersection of Walter Road. That road is closed in both directions due to a crash. Right now, an alternate route is being developed, so stay tuned for that. But I would expect some delays in that area, so avoid it if you can. Closer to Madison, no other issues to report. Travel on the Beltline looking good right now. A little slower on Verona Road as you head northbound, though. You're going about 35 to 40 miles an hour through that stretch. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, thanks so much, Hattie. Madison's police chief and the Dane County District Attorney are at odds when it comes to the state of the juvenile justice system. In a blog post yesterday, Chief Mike Koval said the system is failing the community because some kids aren't being held accountable for their crimes. County DA Ishmael Ozan responded in a press release saying he disagrees and that the community's safety and the best interest of juveniles are linked. Ozan said jail time is not a long-term solution for juvenile justice issues. Just last week, police said there are around 30 kids and teens responsible for the majority of car break-ins in the city, but flaws in the justice system allow them to keep doing it. Both Koval and Ozan did agree, though, on the importance of community safety.
At the state capitol today, a council will talk about legislation that would require police departments across the state to publish body camera video online when it is in the public interest to do so. Departments do not have to share that video if a minor or a violent crime victim is involved. There are also exceptions for crimes that happen somewhere where privacy is expected. Even with those protections in place, though, footage could be released if the public interest in seeing the video outweighs that right to privacy. The bill under consideration also requires that law enforcement agencies have body camera policies down in writing. There's a $100,000 amendment under consideration for Madison's 2019 budget that would start a body cam pilot program.
There's an opportunity to share your thoughts with Dane County leaders on the proposed 2019 budget. The plan sets aside about $18 million to prevent future flooding and another $20 million for an expansion at the Dane County Airport. Parisi is also proposing more money for mental health and drug addiction resources. You can share your ideas and concerns tonight at 7 on the second floor of the City County building. Supervisors are going to start talking about that budget plan on November 12th. There's a plan to start replacing some city metro buses, and it's all possible thanks to money from the Volkswagen emissions scandal. The State Journal reports Common Council voted to allow Metro Transit to apply for $5.6 million to buy 15 new diesel buses, 5 new ones a year over 3 years. That money is coming from a nearly $3 billion settlement by Volkswagen after it admitted to cheating on its federal emission tests for some of its diesel cars. There is a catch, though. If that application is approved, Metro Transit loses out on $5.6 million in state funding over the next decade.
So we could see some significant changes to WISC-TV Field in downtown Madison by next spring. We're talking about even more upgrades the owners want to do there.
The project includes a number of new features, including a hospitality deck. Josh Breiter is live at WISC-TV Field with why some neighbors aren't so hospitable about the idea. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. That hospitality deck would sit on top of the soon-to-be-built concession stand on the west side of the stadium. Project managers say they want to create an active social space with better views of the stadium. But some people we spoke to living around say they're worried the deck would obstruct the views of those living around the field, especially the adjacent apartment buildings. I spoke to the president of the Tenny Lapham Neighborhood Association. She tells me the main concern with the proposed improvements is preserving the history of the stadium, being it's a landmark. A neighborhood meeting will be held on the 1st of November, where the city is looking forward to hearing more feedback on the project. The estimated cost is around $500,000, and that cost will be shared between the city with funding that was already approved last year and Big Top Events. We have everything you need to know on channel3000.com. And Danica, you're mentioning my scarf blowing all over. Compared to Monday, today's a lot better, but we're entering those months now. We don't even care what you look like as long as you're warm, and I'm warm this morning. So
Amen,
there you go.
Friend. All right, well, keep it warm. Get inside the truck for a little bit here. Josh Sprider reporting live in downtown Madison. Thank you, Josh.
6:33 your time now. People living near Edgewood High School will get a chance tonight to share their opinions on whether Friday night lights should be turned on in their neighborhood. Some neighbors in that area are concerned that adding lights and other features to the football stadium would create problems with noise and light pollution. Some of those homes are as close as 100 feet away from the field. The neighborhood and the school are meeting at 6:30 tonight at the Edgewood Commons to talk more about some of those concerns, but ultimately it's up to the city on what happens there. The Planning Commission is expected to take up the issue in January.
6:34 right now, and UW-Madison students and staff that work at the School of Veterinary Medicine are looking to November because that election could dictate when they're able to expand their space. The State Journal reports that $128 million expansion would increase space at up to 50% at the school and the vet hospital. However, the governor's race and legislative elections could delay that project, pushing it back to a later budget. There's $80 million in state-funded borrowing that has to be approved in next year's budget for things to get moving. The teaching hospital was built to serve 12,000 patients each year, but last year it served more than twice that number.
There is a national program coming to Rock County to give students with disabilities the chance to work. Project Search offers internships to high school seniors and recent graduates with disabilities. Those internships pair students with a mentor partner and gives them some independent work experience. The Janesville Gazette reports Mercy Health Hospital is in its first year in the project. It's offering 9-month internships to 8 interns. Project Search first came to Wisconsin in 2008. Since then, 88% of its interns have found full-time work after the program.
All right, 6:35 right now. Front row seats at Lambeau Field are usually pretty exciting, being part of the touchdown celebration, maybe even catching a Lambeau leap.
But one 11-year-old cheesehead is always going to remember that time he almost got to take home a game-tying football. We'll share more when News 3 This Morning returns. Welcome back. We always ask you to share your morning with us here on the program, and this picture was posted to Instagram by the handle Duffyland. Just a gorgeous little shot of some lily pads in there. Kind of throws it back to summer.
Yeah, it really does. Lily pads bring me back to camping. When we went camping, we would kayak around and there'd be lily pads, and as kids, of course, we messed with them. Not very nice to the environment, but what are you gonna do?
You know, Danica and I love a good kayaking picture. So if I can think about kayaking, I'll send that picture in. All right, thanks so much for posting.
Yeah, what does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, and Leah and I share our favorites every morning on the program.
If you or someone in your family is in need of a winter coat, there's some time today for you to get one for free. Volunteers with the Community Action Coalition will be handing out winter gear from our Coats for Kids drive from 10 until 7 today. You can pick up a coat throughout the month of October on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 10 until 3. All right, 6:40 your time now. The game time touchdown at Lambeau Field Monday night was a big moment for lots of Packer fans, but one little guy in the front row definitely won't forget it.
No, we're talking about 11-year-old Luke West. He is
We got an x-ray and then they were like, yeah, it's not fractured or anything, but it's just really bruised, pretty bad.
So you couldn't see it in the interview, but Luke is sporting a sweet cast because when he reached out to Davante Adams trying to give him the ball, Jimmy Graham joined in the celebration enthusiastically enough to crush Luke's hand between the wall and Adams' helmet. Luke's dad, Brandon, says there were a few tears, understandably so, but his son wasn't so upset because Davante Adams is his favorite player.
You know, this has been a positive thing, and even though he walked away with a little injury on him, it's a cool feeling for us to be like, heck yeah, Davante Adams crushed your hand. It was cool.
It's quite the battle scar right there. So Brandon grew up in Lake Geneva. That's his Wisconsin connection. The family now lives in Utah. Dad says Luke's classmates are going to be pretty impressed, even though they're mostly 49ers and Broncos fans.
I have to cringe watching that because it had to be painful.
Look, he's holding his breath there, though. He's still cheering him on. It's a good story. What can you say?
Great story for his grandkids someday.
There you go.
All right, 6:41 your time now. We've got another pumpkin picking forecast ahead of us today, but you might want to grab an extra coat. Plenty of sun at some point. Sunrise is still about half an hour away, and it won't get a lot warmer this morning. Still a nice day ahead, though. Hattie's got the details next.
But first, it is October 17th. Happy birthday to cute Brantley and all the other kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us here on News 3 This Morning.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Hattie McLean. Take a look at this beautiful picture that Jay sent in. I believe he sent it in last week, but it's taken in plain. The beautiful fall colors in view. Also nice contrast to the green still in the foreground of the picture. Indication of just how much moisture we've received lately. Now is peak color though, pretty much for southern Wisconsin. So if you want to take advantage of some of those leaves, got to get out right now. Baraboo, Dodgeville, and Viroqua all at peak color. Madison is very close to peak. They'll be peaking within the next couple of days. And we have wind in the forecast, which is not good news for keeping those leaves on the trees. Satellite and radar conditions combined early this morning, showing you a narrow deck of clouds moving through southern Wisconsin as we speak. So we are waking to cloudy skies this morning. We are going to see plenty of sunshine, though, especially for the afternoon. High pressure is the main force in our weather over the next couple of days. So that's going to keep things very quiet but chilly today. Northwesterly winds are keeping temperatures in the 40s this afternoon. As we go into Thursday, our winds shift around. On the backside of that high pressure, it's more of a southwesterly wind, so temps will warm up just a little bit more tomorrow. Then moisture starts to build back into the region for Friday. You'll definitely notice more clouds as well as a chance for a few showers. Not a guarantee, though, that everyone's going to see that rain. Take a look at temperatures across the upper Midwest. 28 in International Falls, 30 in Sioux Falls, 40 in Omaha this morning, 39 here in Madison as well as Des Moines. Elsewhere across southern Wisconsin, temperatures are generally in the upper 30s this morning. Winds, though, I mentioned a factor today. We have a northwesterly wind this morning, anywhere from 5 to 15 miles an hour. As we go through the day today, take a look at those wind speeds. They're increasing 10 to 20 miles an hour. So it will be a breezy afternoon once again. Winds all day from the northwest. So a little bit cooler today than it was yesterday. Those winds should die back tonight. Your Pinpoint City forecast highs today. Here are the numbers. 46 in Watertown, 48 in Stoughton, as well as New Glarus today. Lots of sunshine, though, expected for the afternoon. Should be pretty nice with that sun, but watch out for the wind. 48 in Mineral Point, 46 in Dodgeville, and to the north, Montello and Baraboo top at 46 degrees. Here in Madison, we'll have plenty of sunshine this afternoon. Temperatures will climb into the mid and upper 40s as well. We're looking at high temperatures in Madison right around 47 degrees. That extended forecast has us back in the 50s. Then again on Thursday and Friday, there will be chances for rain, though, Friday into Saturday. Real up and down on the temperatures, but it looks like the quiet weather pattern continues right into next week. Here's our Princess Gabby.
A little early for
Actually
Halloween there, gal.
Wearing that crown, that's awesome.
Pretty impressive.
It was off 2 seconds later. 2 seconds.
Doesn't matter, they got the picture.
All right, thanks, Addie.
You're welcome.
The morning stop stories are up next, coming up on News 3 this morning. Almost 6:51, time now for the morning sprint. Hattie says you might need the windbreaker this morning. It will be sunny but breezy and cool today. Christina Laurie has the details on today's deadline to register to vote online or via mail.
And Josh Spreiter has a preview of some new upgrades that could be coming to Breese-Stevens Field. But we start up in northern Wisconsin. That's where there will be an autopsy today to learn more about a missing teen's parents who were found dead inside their home. 13-year-old Jamie Kloss has been missing from Barron since early Monday morning. The cause of her parents' deaths hasn't been released yet, but police did say gunshots were fired. Officials think Jamie might be in danger, and a tip that she might have been seen in Miami has been since ruled out. Anyone with information on where she might be is asked to call 911.
The man accused of killing his wife 30 years ago will go to trial next March. Mark Bringe is charged with first-degree homicide, and yesterday a Columbia County judge denied his motion to dismiss the case. Back in 1998, Bringe's wife Lori was found dead with a single gunshot wound to the head just west of Poynette. At that time, Bringe told law enforcement that his wife killed herself, but advanced technology gave investigators the evidence they needed to arrest Bringe in Arizona earlier this year.
Madison's police chief and the Dane County district attorney are at odds on the state of the juvenile justice system. In a blog post yesterday, Chief Mike Koval said the system is failing the community because some kids aren't being held accountable for their crimes. County DA Ishmael Ozan responded in a press release saying he disagrees and that jail time isn't a long-term solution for juvenile justice issues.
And we're starting with some clouds today. Temperatures in the 30s across southern Wisconsin. It's definitely going to be another cool day today. 39 right now in Madison. We're only topping, though, in the mid to upper 40s. Northwesterly winds will stay strong at 10 to 20 miles an hour today, making it feel even cooler.
All right, Hattie, thank you. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is on his way back to D.C. this morning. He was in Turkey just hours ago, talking with leaders there after meeting with the King and Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. President Trump says we should not rush to judgment after Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi disappeared. Turkish officials say there's evidence he was murdered by the Saudi government. Saudi leaders deny anyone killed Khashoggi in the consulate and reportedly claim he died during an interrogation gone wrong.
Back in Madison, the city's talking about spending another $500,000 on its Judge Doyle Square project this morning. The State Journal reports Mayor Paul Soglin proposed a resolution to Common Council at their meeting last night to pay $600,000 more to Beitler Real Estate Services. That's the company that dropped its lawsuit against the city after claiming it was edged out of funding decisions. Council is expected to vote on that resolution at the end of the month.
Madison's Board of Public Works is talking about improvements on East Johnson Street today. The $6 million project would include repaving sections of road from Baldwin Street to First Street, the same area that was closed for flooding over the summer.
Madison's about to spend more than $3 million on damage from that flooding. City Council approved that payment at its meeting last night. The State Journal reports the money is mostly coming out of stormwater, sewer, and landfill reserve funds. The money will go toward treating runoff water, sidewalk and street repairs, and overtime costs for departments working on the cleanup.
3 weeks out from Election Day, today is the deadline for you to register to vote by mail or online. If registering by mail, your voter registration form and proof of residence must be postmarked to your municipal clerk by no later than today. And if registering online, you can get that done anytime before the end of the day. But remember, today is not your last chance to register to vote altogether. You can still register in person at your clerk's office until Friday, November 2nd. And here in Wisconsin, you can actually register to vote on Election Day at your polling place. Reminder that Election Day is Tuesday, November 6th.
Christina, thank you. Voters in Wisconsin's 42nd District can hear from their state assembly candidates this afternoon. Republican John Plummer beat Democrat Ann Groves Lloyd in a special election back in June. The two are back on November's ballot. Today's forum runs from noon to 1 at Lodi High School.
The Madison School District wants to hear from parents when it comes to discipline policies and how teachers implement them in classrooms. That plan covers everything from bullying to suspensions, cell phones in schools, and how teachers should be teaching positive behaviors. The meeting starts at 6 at the library inside Memorial High School. There are 3 more public input sessions scheduled over the next month.
I'm Josh Spreiter live at Breese-Stevens Field this morning, where the city of Madison is proposing even more improvements for the stadium. The plan by the Parks Commission, or division rather, includes bleacher upgrades, more bleachers, and a hospitality deck, also better handicap access. Officials also want to improve areas on and around the field ahead of professional soccer coming to Madison next year. The proposed updates are estimated around $500,000, which would be shared between the city and Big Top events. A neighborhood meeting is set for November 1st, where they hope to get more feedback from you. You can find more information on the project timeline at channel3000.com.
Thank you, Josh. After more than a 5-hour marathon of a game, the NLCS is now tied at 2. The Brewers fell to the Dodgers 2-1 in the 13th inning in L.A. It was the second longest game in series history, ending just before 1:30 our time. The Crew went 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Game 5 starts just after 4 this afternoon over on Fox Sports 1.
If you're planning to drive on the interstate just north of Edgerton tonight, we've got a first alert traffic note for you from 8 until 11:30 this evening. Northbound interstate ramps to Highway 51 and Highway 73 are going to be closed. Then the on-ramp to southbound I-90 from Highways 51 and 73 will be closed from 11:30 tonight through 5 tomorrow morning.
All right, speaking of traffic, let's check in one more time on First Alert Traffic. Here's Hattie with that.
We saw that accident near Wanakee. It has closed Highway 19 eastbound between Walter Road and River Road, so you'll need to route around that accident this morning. Starting to pick up a little bit on the Beltline, especially right around Stoughton Road. As you head inbound on John Nolan, we're not seeing any major delays right now, but as we go through the 7 o'clock hour, I would imagine that volume will increase, and we'll start to see some delays on John Nolan as well. Drive times into the city, though, still looking pretty normal. Through the construction zone on Verona Road, it's a little slower right now. A view outside, we have cloudy skies from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam and across all of southern Wisconsin this morning. We'll deal with the clouds for a few hours and then sunshine this afternoon. It is going to be a breezy and chilly day with highs only in the upper 40s. We do get back into the 50s tomorrow.
All right, along with an update on the missing girl here from Wisconsin, CBS This Morning has an interview with Paul Ryan coming up.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.